Thinking about it, something that you won't find in Google. Yeah, because Google is something you have on the tip of your hand right now. I'll be talking about something which is more important. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, can you hear me? I think better than like having the microphone. Okay. The topic today is the role of media in delivery of justice. I'll stick to that topic because it plays very important role in terms of understanding how media can play a very pivotal role when it comes to delivery of justice. Because today, the irony is like justice do not come cheap. Yeah? And it is the responsibility of the media when it writes certain things, there needs to be an end result of it that is giving justice to whoever you can. Yeah? But ultimately it also influences the court and the decision makers to come in favor of in support of the concerned person who is a victim of the incident. I'll start my talk with the very fact about how the concept of meow meow or methadone drug, which became a very crucial talking point, and how the media played an important role, especially media played an important role in this particular case. Why am I talking about meow meow and the drug right now? Because majority of you are in that age group of basically having the peer influence in your day-to-day life. Any doubt, you can always stop me wherever I am so that I can clarify if you have any doubt. Okay? Am I right? Yeah? So, I had no clue about this particular drug that was available or it is likely to be available in the party circuit because I don't go for party. Yeah? I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't basically have those kind of circuit where like I would come to know what is happening. For instance, have you heard of Narangi? Narangi? Simple? Yeah. Santra? Yeah. The hooch which is available locally, right? This was common jargons like Narangi, Santra and all that. People who were basically in that city of Mumbai during our era, they would come to know there were country liquor bars across and the country liquor bar would serve this kind of liquor. So liquor was also a type of addiction. But as the society changes, as people changes, as set of people with money changes, the need of drugs and addiction also changes, right? Because a person with money in pocket may not want to go to a country bar. He would definitely want to go to a bigger hotel where he could have some English alcohol or whatever. This was one morning when a well-known psychiatrist by the name Dr. Yusuf Merchant, late Yusuf Merchant had come down to meet their office and he had told me, Vinod, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the way some youth who have come to my rehab center have started behaving because they don't behave like an ordinary drug addict who want to come and get rehab. The Narcotic and Psychotropic Substance Act very clearly says that 61 section number says that if you are caught with any drug in hand, if it is for self-consumption, you can always go back to a rehab center and you will not be put behind the bars. Commercial sale of drug becomes an illegal possession of drug which can be putting you in trouble. But if you are using it for self-consumption, you cannot land up in trouble because section 61 of the NDPS Act is very clear on it. Now the concern that Dr. Yusuf Merchant, the late Yusuf Merchant had was about a new drug that was available in the market and in the party circuit. And he said, I'm helpless about it because it is eroding our youth and our young generation. So I tried to figure out more from him what exactly he's trying to communicate. So he said, there are young boys and girls from colleges who are getting addicted to this drug, which is an equivalent substitute to a cocaine. So your cocaine 1 gram, you will be getting it for almost 1,000 rupees. But at the same time, your meow meow or a methadone, you will be getting it for 100 rupees. The impact of meow meow on a person's mindset and system is such, where the cocaine, after 5 hours or 6 hours of intake of cocaine, you will behave in a very different way from what you have been behaving once you take your meow meow or methadone as compared to cocaine, because cocaine will push you into one corner of the room and you will be mellowing down. But In Myanmar, it was completely different. The urge of having it more was something which was worrisome. After 5 or 6 hours of having the first dosage of Myanmar, it would develop a feel of having further Myanmar, and you are getting addicted. And without that drug, you will be having a zombie effect. Now, the concern that Dr. Merchant was having was that imagine somebody getting addicted to Myanmar, and that person is shelling out money from his pocket because for next of the 24 hours, he at least will need around 4 to 5 dosage for having that kick in him, and he would get that addiction felt, which was not happening in the case of cocaine. And if you see a comparison of the cost, 1000 rupee for 1 gram versus 100 rupee for 1 gram, you put in 600 rupee, your entire day quota is taken care of, but the extent of damage that is done to a Myanmar as compared to a cocaine is much more severe. So this is what he wanted to convey to me, and he said the worst thing is that this is not covered under the law enforcement agencies. No, and the worst thing was it was available online. You place an order, you have the drug coming onto your doorstep for ₹100, and the law enforcement agency could not do anything about it. So what happened was I told Dr. Merchant, the late Dr. Merchant, that I want to meet these boys and girls, and I want to understand from them how it affects them and how they have tried to overcome this particular menace of Myanmar. Believe me, all these boys and girls were in the age group of 15 to 25. Yeah? And boys and girls from affluent families, some staying in South Bombay, some staying in places like Bandra, some staying in Beach Candy. And these kids, when I met them, I spoke to them, they were not good in studies, they were doing really great before they got addicted to this drug. One of the boys whom I spoke to from Bandra was a class 9 student when he got into addiction. And all these boys and girls had something common. And the common thing was like, they started with smoking. When they started going for party, they were in their peer group, and the peer group would encourage them to have cigarette, then have some booze, and that all started they graduated with all this, and then they said why don't you get something drugs, because it gives you energy, it gives you extra feeling that you are in the sky, and you feel energetic, you feel more happier from it. And these boys and girls from affluent families, they started using cocaine. Some of them started using the basic ganja, marijuana. So all these kind of things that they experienced, and they started getting the feel and the kick. When they came in contact with Myanmar, the guy who started introducing them to Myanmar was none other than the drug peddler who started approaching them. They said market में आज नया माल आया है, and ये माल जो है, it's much cheaper and it is easily available, and this is a substitute to cocaine. And they never was informed that it is a substitute to cocaine unless and until they were asked to try it. Once they started trying it, the feel, as I said, once you have a cocaine, the impact of cocaine last time diya tha mujhe, and he would demand it. Now, the peddler also is smart enough, because something that he gave at 100 rupees, he increases the price simultaneously. You're getting what I'm saying? So what is the business that the peddler is doing? So something that he got for 100 rupees, now suddenly it becomes 500, then the cost keeps on increasing. Now there is a situation where the young boys and girls do not have money. What they get into is they start stealing from their houses. You're getting what I'm trying to say? So they started stealing from their house, and the parents are working. The parents do not know what is happening in their house, because the things that they had kept somewhere, the cash that they had kept, the jewelry that they had kept, it has started missing out. Yeah? Now, the third factor of it comes in. As you start using this particular drug more and more, what happens? Your sexual urge increases a lot. So what these boys and girls would start doing is that they would try to have multiple partners. If you do not get multiple partners, they started visiting Kamaki Puram, and they started having sexual relations with a sex worker. Yeah? Now, when they realize that they have already got into a deep shit trouble and they can't come out of it, because the family have already got an inclination that the boy who was otherwise studying in a Jain or a HR or some other college he has become addicted to certain drugs which are basically like affecting his academics. And the boy suddenly started failing in examinations. He would start telling lies to the family, his overall health started deteriorating, and moreover, he would not sleep at night. So he would get hooked watching the porn movies throughout because the parents were the one who was taking utmost care of the child because everything was readily available for him. Huge, lavish houses with separate room for him to stay, and the boy is having throughout the night watching movies and all that. So this is the narration that these boys and the girls that started narrating to me. And I realized that they had created a major problem for them. And can you imagine what is the bigger issue? The bigger issue is narco-terrorism. Narco-terrorism is basically the concept that basically the other enemy countries want to eliminate the youth of our country. The future of our country can get eliminated when you get addicted to this kind of drug. And just imagine 15 years and 20 years, 25 years on, yes, boys and girls from good family background, from good colleges are getting addicted. What is the future of India going to be? So I started writing about their experience in my newspaper, and subsequently I had a meeting with the Joint Director of Narcotics Control Bureau to figure out why they cannot take any action. It says for the law enforcement agency to take up any action, there need to be any provision under the law in which the action can be taken. Correct? So without any provision of law allowing the law enforcement agency to act on certain thing which is wrong, certain thing what is happening is unlawful, and you have to act on it, but even if I try to apprehend you, there is no case against you because the law does not have a provision which gives the law enforcement agency the power to go and arrest you. Am I right? So this was the helplessness that the Narcotic Control Bureau had. So this was the first article which we had written. I had written in the month of April, and subsequently in the month of December we wrote series of articles because the anti-narcotics cell was quite rampant. They were also clueless about what was happening around. They all knew that there is a new drug that was available in the market, and in the party circuit, this was mushrooming. Yeah, this was mushrooming. So the second thing came up was the December 31st eve, the party eve, which normally the youngsters want to visit and enjoy their party. So I recollect the Chief Minister then was Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, and we had a word with him, and we said that this is a major problem because these drugs are easily available and these are the futures of our country, and there is nothing that the law enforcement agency can do because of this problem. So he said, we are very concerned about it, we will write to the central government about it. At the same time, after my first article came in, I had somebody who was very close to the BMO. He was working with the agency. So he came down once to my office to ask me what is happening around in the city. And I narrated to him about this particular incident of Myamyo that was available and how the youth of the country was getting eroded. And this particular thing was not covered in the law. So he said he will be moving a statement to the Home Department, and the Home Department will be taking cognizance of it. Meanwhile, Devendra Fadnavis also wants to take up the cognizance of this particular article what we were writing about, and he said he is also going to write a letter to the Home Department. And believe me, it was in the month of February of 2015 where cognizance was taken to the article what we had written, and subsequently the letter that was sent in by the Chief Minister of Maharashtra as well as the PMO official who had come down to meet me. That was taken cognizance, and in the month of February, the Narcotic Control, the NDPS Act was introduced with Myamyo and Methadone as basically the banned substance, which gave the power to the police as well as the law enforcement agencies to crack down on all the places. Like unlike a opium, which is a cultivated drug, yeah, these are scientific and laboratory drugs. So Myamyo is nothing, you can't cultivate Myamyo, you have to make it in a laboratory. It's a laboratory drug. So the methadone drug is made inside a laboratory, and the laboratory can be anywhere. Yeah. So once this act banned usage of methadone and similar substances, the crackdown started. So even recently, if you see the Pune police had carried out a crackdown on methadone, and they opened up an international syndicate, and it was more than 3,500 crore drug that was recovered. Yeah. So this was basically a recent thing, and over the period of time, there were a lot of such raids that had happened across Mumbai, across Maharashtra, across India, where Lamam was basically used as one of the scientific drugs for eroding the youth of our country. Now, having said that, the major concern was basically about these kids who were in the rehab center and what happened to them. So once they got the rehabilitation done, the kids had done away with drugs and they could come out of these clutches of drugs. Yeah. Even today, the biggest menace that we have is drug addiction. Why I am telling this to you? Because you may be having your friends, you may be having your people around you, and moreover, the biggest irony is like today, you cannot stop this kind of menace unless you have strong human intelligence. Yeah, because now the problem is what we all stay in practice. Progress as a country, as a progress as a nation, as we have a lot of comfort within today, there is a cut, and the cut is a human touch. We are getting disconnected from the very human species that we are. Yeah, that is the irony today. So because of lack of intelligence, we are not able to track any more such cases. So that was how the media played an important role. When you say that what did media do? Media played a very important role when it came to bringing out a major issue like this before the masses. Cognizance was taken and ensured that cognizance was taken by the concerned people who were in power. And subsequently, it was also highlighted that this needs to be brought in form of an act. And therefore, an act was, which was already in place, there was an enactment and notification put in being said as that like Section 3 clause 1 of the NDPS Act now puts a ban on usage of petrol and it cannot be even sold. So, storage, sale, and usage of petrol is said to be an illegal act under the NDPS. Okay? So, very amazing. Now comes the any doubt as far as Myanmar is concerned? Yeah. So Myanmar is a sumo game, no? Sumo game. So Myanmar में इसको बोलता है, इसको बोलते हैं Myanmar. Cat, right? Because ये क्या होता है? Normally, the law enforcement agencies they also tag certain calls, ना? So it doesn't become easy for them to find out what it is. So there is a sumo game, Myanmar. So the cat is out of the cat is out of the cage. The cat is out of the bag. So this is basically the kind of pseudo names that are being used by the concerned people, and that is how the law enforcement agency did an encounter. Now coming to the second issue about atrocity. Why media plays an important role when it comes to atrocity? Now, atrocity, I will tell you basically, you all are aware about Kairanji issue and all that. I don't want to get back into Kairanji right now because there is no point in talking about something where the judgment has already come in and I try to again bring out the flashback and make sense. I will try to tap on certain things which have not been reported the way you people would have known. Yeah? So, police atrocity. So when justice is given in terms of police atrocity when it happens, now the problem comes in. This is a factual case where the police had information about fake currency being circulated in a public taxi by one particular person and he was picked up from South Mumbai. So the team of Dharavi police they go and they pick him up. He is brought to the detection room, there is questioning going on and by default like after 1 or 2 days this person he is brought to Siam hospital. And at Siam hospital, this man is declared dead. Yeah. So, always, I'm asking you the land to you, the pure guy. Can you tell always? Okay. Muruma? Yeah. Let's start. So, this guy at Dharavi police station, he was brought to Siam hospital. At Siam hospital, he was declared dead. Now, the team of forensic medicine from the Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, when they started the autopsy, they concluded that his death was due to meningitis and it was a natural death. Right? So, this was something which was taken back by the family members, the risk of of the disease, and they wanted to know what exactly might have gone wrong to their loved one. How is that like he died of meningitis? Because the previous evening when they had met him in the custody, he was okay. And he did not complain of any fever or any health-related issues. And how is that like, within a span of few hours in the night, morning he is brought in and they have concluded that therefore due to meningitis. So what happened? They demanded that there needs to be a committee and let the committee find the actual reason for it. So the autopsy was performed, photograph was taken. Subsequently, they made a committee of doctors, forensic doctors attached to Sassoon Hospital in Pune. So the team of forensic medicine doctors from Sassoon Hospital, they too concluded that the death was due to meningitis. So that means what the report given by JJ forensic team was similar to the finding that was found by the committee that was made at Sassoon, and they too concluded that the man died due to meningitis. So the family was not happy with this conclusion. They moved the Bombay High Court, demanding the CBI inquiry into the particular death. Bombay High Court raised certain doubts in their mind, and subsequently the CBI was asked to investigate the matter, the custodial death at Vindo station. So CBI was not convinced. The concerned officer Vindo Kumar, who was the investigating officer, the SP of CBI, he was not convinced with the kind of conclusion that was made by both JJ forensic team as well as the committee of doctors from Sassoon. He contacted the Chandigarh experts, and the Chandigarh experts, after going through all the reports, including the photo frame, they said the death is not due to meningitis, the death is due to neurogenic shock. Now the question is, what is neurogenic shock? Anyone? Any clue? Neurogenic shock, you are lost with. Tomorrow you will be a lawyer. You need to understand medical thing when you come up with cases in the court, medical related.
Affects your brain. Anything that affects your brain.
Yeah. So neurogenic shock is something basically which has got connection to your mind. Okay. So the experts from Chandigarh University, they pointed out, University, they pointed out that the death was due to neurogenic shock, and it is nothing but police atrocity that has happened inside the law. So the question comes is how the neurogenic shock happens. So the police have something called as the bone patta. How many of you have seen the bone patta? You have seen that? The belt that is made out of the flour mill belt, right? So that is used by the election staff normally, so that the truth is revealed by the suspect. So this was being used by the concerned detection staff every time they were hitting on his back, on the buttock area. Yeah, so every time he was basically hanged, he was hit on the buttock, and every time he was hit on the buttock, from the spinal cord, there is a neurogenic shock that is created. That neurogenic shock through the spine gets into your brain, and he died. You get what I'm saying? When he highlighted this, cognizance was taken subsequently. All the concerned police, if you go by the National Crime Record Bureau report, all custodial death, all custodial torture, there is no police wala, irrespective of being involved and being found guilty, there is no conviction that has happened. Unless the recent case, which is the recent case that where a police officer got convicted, which one? Which is the case? What had happened?
Take encounter.
Take encounter to hai nahi. Take encounter hai. There were 12 policemen, and Sharma was a 13th man who was already acquitted by the sessions court, right? So the status challenge. But unfortunate thing is, when it comes to giving justice, the justice do not come. It is the state versus the victim. Yeah. So this is basically how the cases come up when the media plays an important role. And nobody likes. You know, why media is hated? Media is hated because bitter truth when it comes, it is making certain people uncomfortable. When you make certain people uncomfortable by asking them hard-hitting questions, they do not want that hard-hitting questions to be put up. Correct what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So this was the another story where the media played an important role when it comes to giving justice and the family. Otherwise, like the guy who was picked up from Dharavi, his family could not even afford a lawyer here. Forget about like giving justice to anyone. I've seen it somewhere. What's your name? Last day. I've seen it. Very good. Interesting. So, when it comes to talking about the law enforcement agencies and how they play an important role in the pivotal role. Yeah. So the point what I'm trying to say is how many of the people when it comes to giving justice to those people where justice is not easily available. Yeah, because justice comes for a price. But the price is basically when you cannot afford to have batteries of big lawyers. You cannot afford to have those kinds of investigating agencies who have to do the work with due diligence. Yeah, so these are the major concerns that come in. And how much understanding of the subject do the people have. Yeah, so these are the points which comes into the mind of a common man when it comes to delivery of justice. The third important story that I need to highlight and I need to talk about is basically about how the role of media is also proactive when it comes to, because many times what happens is that what is seen is not the factual thing. Yeah, because what you read in the media may not be the factual thing. Yeah, so normally what happens, like law enforcing agencies, they have their own way of carrying out investigations. They would part of certain information which may be needed in public domain. There are many information which may not be into the public domain. Yeah, so there is a thin line of what you can write and what you cannot write. Yeah, and we have to be very cautious about it. Like for example, Poxo. You cannot go ahead and write anything about the victim of Poxo. You cannot do it. There is a responsibility on the journalist end of the day. I can't go and name the victim. I can't name the school or the area or the parents where the victim is coming in. Yeah. Recently there is a judgment about the two-finger test, which has been banned completely. Yeah, the two-finger test has been pointed out like this is not the way it is. So what happens is that it is unlawful. And moreover, psychologically, it impacts a lot on the victim. My concern that normally comes in is the victim compensation and the victimization that comes in with the kind of trauma. Any assault of any nature, yeah, is a traumatic experience. Do you agree? Do you agree? That somebody coming and clicking your mobile, you are upset throughout the day. Right? Because it's a traumatic experience. I have lost my mobile, somebody has clicked my mobile phone. Now here, it is more of a bodily injury coming into you. You get what I'm trying to say? But this is more traumatic because it personifies and impacts your overall personality as a human being. Can you imagine? For example, I'll tell you the Bandara incident of rape where the three siblings were found dead in an open well. The whole matter got shaken up so badly that then Mr. Prithviraj Chavan was the CM of Maharashtra. The matter was taken up by Smriti Irani inside the parliament, and in the parliament there was a big talk about the deteriorating law and order situation in Maharashtra, which was not the case at all. Please understand how the media plays a very crucial role when it comes to conveying the right kind of message, and the pressure that was built on the department, police department in Bandara was so bad that they suspected it to be a case of rape. They suspected it to be a case of brutal killing, and they suspected that it is only because the wrongdoers did this way, and it should be somebody who might be a truck driver. Can you imagine? 250 plus truck driver undergarment was sent to Kalina Forensic Laboratory. 250. So quantum of punishment, right? The pressure, that like compensation was given. So when the investigation was carried out, there was a team of forensic experts from AM Hospital, Dr. Harish Patak and team. They went there. They carried out an investigation and then they found out that the autopsy was done at the rural hospital, wherein ideally the body should have been sent to the forensic department, government medical college in Nagpur, which was very nearby. But the doctor who did that, and also the body was removed after 3 to 4 days. Yeah, so when the body was removed after 3 to 4 days, already the body is in a decomposed state of situation. So when the body starts decomposing, you have the skin and everything getting peeled off. And this autopsy was performed by the gynecologist. And the gynecologist pointed out that there are injuries. And mind you, she is not even opening the body. The body is examined and cut open by the attendant. And there is a video to it. So when Dr. Patak and team goes there, they find out that this was basically not the way the story was being built up. This is an open well. These 3 girls of the age group of 12, 10 and 8, they were all playing in that farm away from their house. And what happened when they went closer to the well, one of them fell. When one fell, and that is an isolated location, the other 2 followed. Now, how this could be concluded was that there was a diatom test that was carried out, and the diatom confirmed that like, that was due to drowning. And they figured out like an injury mark, which was otherwise believed to be an injury mark, but not an injury mark because the body had already started peeling off because of the decomposition. I remember Radha Patil was the Home Minister at that time, and he had contacted Wilson Patel saying that you have to investigate the case and figure out what is happening around because this matter has gone to the Parliament. And the Parliament was basically shaken up because of the kind of statements that were being made by the certain leaders at that point in time. And the truth came out that it was an accidental. Can you imagine the kind of hearsay what was happening? Similar thing happened if you recollect. There was this skeletal remains that was found in Solapur somewhere, where a doctor was involved in the killing of brutal killing. In this case also, there were multiple skeletons that were coming out, and the skeletons were directly sent to the primary health center. And there, the civil surgeon had directed the concerned doctor to carry out the autopsy. And I remember talking to the doctor, and she telling me, "Well, I am a dermatologist. I have never done an autopsy, and forensic is not my subject." Can you imagine the technicality coming in there? So, a dermatologist who has never done an autopsy is going to do an autopsy because the civil surgeon wants her to do the autopsy. What is the finding that she will be giving? Will she be able to point out whether it was a homicidal case, whether it was a suicidal case, whether it was an accidental case, or whether it was something else? Or whether it was a human sacrifice case? Because the angle that was coming at that time was a human angle, a sacrifice case. Black man. Reports were given, she was helpless, and he wrote the story, and then the civil servant said, "I am going to change it, I am going to send the body back to Mumbai all the way." They did not even trust anybody else. Again, the body, the skeletal remains were sent to KM hospital, and the KM team did the autopsy. It matters a lot. It matters a lot when it comes to investigation, when it comes to writing. And the problem is, when you run your own parallel investigation, the way it happened in the Sushant Singh Rajput case. There were people who started doing their parallel investigation, and we had the central agencies who come down and have all possible stories like, about something which was not there. And you talk about a pre-planned, well-planned murder conspiracy, but what happened, it is dangerous, right? So then, like as a responsible journalist, are you trying to help the criminal justice process, or are you trying to reveal the truth? Forget about the criminal justice process, because you are not a law enforcement agency to decide on the aspect of the investigation has rate. Because what happened, even the court, many times, the Supreme Court has also pointed out, media has to play a very crucial role when it comes to doing media trial. Sushant Singh Rajput case was a classic case of media trial where you are sitting inside the studio and you are having experts who are all experts. That is the second item. They are all experts in every field. They talk about forensics, they talk about law, they talk about how the conspirators might have come out, and they have also committed the crime of murder. The murder theory was completely taken apart. And three central agencies. You have the ED, the CBI, and the Narcotic Control Bureau, all coming down, carrying out an investigation to expose the drug mafias and the links in the Bollywood. What did they land up with? The CBI went back after 7 days time because they figured out there was nothing the way they were being talked about. The Narcotic Control Bureau, who were investigating the so-called drug link into the Bollywood, they found some quantity of ganja and some guys like who was more the drug peddlers they were picking up. But the enforcement directorate also could not come out with a conclusion there. This is a dangerous trend where you have a media investigation and a media trial that is happening, which hampers the investigation process. Not only the investigation process, also the resources are very different because these are the central agencies who are supposed to do much important work, but because there is a pressure that is built in, that pressure is built in such a way that you are trying to libel somebody. Scamming and libel, though it is an offence under IPC 499 and 500, what happens is that it is free to all. No. Media also have to be responsible towards whom they are libeling, whom they are scamming. You can't make scandalous statement and get it. There is a responsibility on the shoulder because it's not easy for anybody to get it in making a statement. And that is what we learned as a journalist because we were fortunate to have worked with mentors who were very serious about those days where there was no mobile phone, there was no computer systems available. When we started 25 years back, it was all one-on-one personal relation. you go talk to your source, meet the source at the police station or at the place wherever you want to go. They would have trust in it. They would develop the contract in you. But now what has happened? We have come to a scenario where everything is on the tip of your finger. As I told you when I was discussing about why narco-terrorism is a concern for us, why the youth is becoming vulnerable today, and why that entire element should be cut out with, because we have to develop a human relations which is not there. The need of the hour is to have the human intelligence developed so that the people are aware of what is happening in the neighborhood, yeah, which is not happening. So this mobile thing, any news coming across becomes a news. It doesn't happen that. So there is a responsibility of you citizens also. That every time you get a WhatsApp message, verify the fact. Don't be a part of that group. You just keep sending messages after messages without realizing whether it is true or not. But this problem was found even during the COVID-19 time, when the media had to be responsible and we had raised certain questions. One of the important things was like there was a decree at that time when the BUC Commissioner Praveen Pardeshi had made a very clear statement that in case of COVID death, let the cremation happen and all bodies should be cremated with due respect to religion. All bodies should be cremated and the body should be taken outside the city limits. But there was opposition on that and they said no, we cannot. There has to be people who have to be buried within the city itself because of our religious belief and all, which was agreed upon. Now the problem that came up during COVID-19 was, without people realizing, there was usage of sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite was used to lay every dead body in COVID case. Now Article 21 talks about right to life. Yeah? Article 21 also talks about right to decent burial or right of decent cremation. That is a fundamental right given under the Constitution. But here what was happening, because people were blatantly believing in hearing something, he got sodium hypochlorite to be used on everybody. They kept on spraying sodium hypochlorite on every dead body. They started wrapping the dead bodies onto 3 layers of plastic packet. Can you imagine? Then from the hospital, the body would go for the cremation or for burial. Forget cremation is still okay because you're burning off the body, but the burial thing was a concern. So when we wrote about that article, our concern was when we spoke to the experts. The experts pointed out that it takes 100 years for a plastic sheet to get degraded. Can you imagine a city like Mumbai where you are having all your utility services, water connections, everything underground? Yeah, and you are lacing this body with complete sodium hypochlorite. It is going deep into the soil, almost 6 feet beneath the soil. There are living organisms which actually eat up this body. That is how the body gets degraded. Simple. But with these microorganisms also getting affected because of this chemical that was used. So then they realized and then they said like we are not going to use sodium hypochlorite here. They stopped using after that article that was published. Same was the case at the time when they said that usage of HCQ will be used for treatment of COVID-19. That is what the meaning is the term parameter. And sodium HCQ was basically given as a malarial drug here in India. Yeah? So there was a myth. So there was a lot of myth that was being created. The Oxford University was the only university in the world which had invested in a fact-finding team. So that they said they would verify before putting out any information out there in the public domain. You get what I'm saying? Therefore, in today's era, where information, news, and any kind of messages what you get, it is on the tip of your finger. And all of them are multiple groups. And multiple groups, what happen? You have it, you want to put it first. Yeah? In the process of breaking news, in the process of doing it first, we don't do an analysis ourselves to figure out whether it is really important to forward that message. Whether it is going to do any public good in sending out the message. You get what I'm saying? This is what even the Maharashtra police had come out with, a do's and don'ts for the people at large when they get messages. Because messages play very havoc. It can play havoc within a short span of time. So I believe like as a law student, as an future example for being a responsible lawyer to go in the court. You get what I'm trying to convey? Because if I behave like a no man who doesn't understand what I'm forwarding the messages, I am one and only. And law says, ignorance of law is no excuse in the eye of God. I can't say that was our input. And you people cannot even say that. Because you people are coming from Ambedkar Law College doing your law and you people are presumed to have understood the legality part. Am I right? And moreover, you are a student of Dhanpalji. Can you imagine? So you can't afford to have that, right? So you don't have an experience. So media plays an important role. Now I'll tell you one important story that I'll wind up because I can go on and on. It's 7 o'clock and there are a lot of other plans. Yeah, and that will be inside here. My last important story is about a very real story. Why none of you should give up? Why none of you should be giving up? And you all have that ability, and you all are very fortunate. Because I can see all your faces, and I can see that you are all from this family, you have the ability to grow. This story is of a young boy. His name was, Mr. Dalpa, what was the name of that person?
NASA.
No, NASA is not the name of the person.
NASA is the parent.
Dalpa also is not a So, this happened later. So, the student is Jai Vaidya. Jai Vaidya, some of you will be able to connect yourself to Jai Vaidya's situation. मराठीमध्ये चालेल का हिंदीमध्ये बोलू मॅम तुम्हाला I'm able to communicate with you. This is an important story. I don't want you to talk about Jai Vaidya's story. It is one for you and you all will be able to connect to Jai Vaidya at some time out there. Jai Vaidya was a young boy from Kurla. Jai Vaidya's father disowned the mother when Jai was very small. Like any other mother who would do to help the child to come up, Jai Vaidya's mother started working as a housemaid. Jai Vaidya was staying in a small house of 10 by 10. The mother had to get water from outside. The washroom, the public toilet was outside the house. They had nothing other than one fan and one tube light and one gas stove throughout that week. One chapati and some chutney or some namak that he would have. Jai Vaidya would sit beneath the street light to study. He completed his class 10. I remember Jai telling me his mother did not have money to pay the school fee and the school had told the mother that he won't be allowed to write the examination. So somehow, since childhood, there were many trusts which were helping Jai Vaidya to continue with his education. Jai Vaidya was determined because he had been seeing his mother struggling to help him because he was the only child and there was no support coming in father who had disowned the family. Jai Vaidya completed his 10th standard, got a good percentile. He went to a good college. Again he got scholarship. He completed his 12th science. He wanted to study engineering. At the same time, he got a job with Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. The first job, and Jai was also doing some odd work which was giving him some money, which was used for him for his basically pocket money kind of thing. From Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, he started further studies. He completed his engineering. He got a chance to appear for scholarship in United States of America. Jai Vaidya appeared for that US scholarship. He got selected in US. He went from Chawl of Kurla all the way to US. He started having proper food like we all do. His mother was not scared of using gas cylinder once in a week anymore because they were able to earn. But she continued to stay there. Once in USA, he became and he tried out to be a part of the NASA. Today, Jai Vaidya is a part of NASA representing India, and he is the man who will be part of the Mars mission of NASA of 2024. So you should clap together. I'm telling about Jai Vaidya because you all can get connected to him. You all have reasons and excuses for not doing anything in life. Believe my word. कल एग्जाम में जाते आराम से पढ़ेगा, परसों एग्जाम में आराम से पढ़ेगा. Look upon Jai Vaidya, the man who did not even have proper food, the man who had no comfort of his house, the man who had no pocket money to come in from anywhere, and that man was determined to do something in life. And today he is representing India to the NASA, and he is a part of the Mars mission. And believe me, Jai's mother called me recently. Jay got married. Jay got married to the girl whom he had met in the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and she is also settled in the US right now. Jay want to continue contributing for the space research program and is working hard towards it. Determination, sky is Second important story I'll tell you. There was a young boy from Bangalore who never wanted to get into the armed forces. Yeah? This man, he just wanted to write an examination. He wrote the NDA examination, cleared of it NDA, was very happy, but okay, he was not very keen to get into the armed forces. But because he cleared of his NDA examination, he was put down JNK. So in JNK, he joined as a lieutenant. And as a lieutenant, there was an intelligence, military intelligence information that there was terrorists who were hiding in Kupwara area, in the jungles of Kupwara. So, our friend Gopal Mitra, Lieutenant Gopal Mitra then, he along with his team had gone to Kupwara, the jungle to carry out a search operation. Now during the course of carrying out the search, Gopal Mitra realized that there were a lot of arms and ammunition that were lying, but there was nobody to be seen. Yeah? So he realized that this was a movie trap. Yeah? So what he did was he immediately alerted his guards to run and escape from there because he realized that there was something going to happen. And at the very same time, there was a remote device used and the entire area was blown off. Yeah? Major Gopal Mitra. I stand corrected, he was not lieutenant, he was major at that time. So Major Gopal Mitra. So Major Gopal Mitra was badly injured in that ambush. He was taken to the base hospital, he was treated and the doctors had found out that his vision was badly injured, both his eyes were badly injured. Gopal Mitra was airlifted from there, he was taken to Shankar Netralaya in Chennai, and at Chennai the doctors realized that both his retina was beyond repair and he cannot see thereafter. Gopal Mitra became blind and he basically was out of the service because once you are handicapped or once you are injured in the armed forces, you cannot continue serving the armed forces. He was sent back. So Gopal Mitra had married Chandrima. Chandrima happened to be the daughter of an army officer, and Chandrima was happy to be with Gopal Mitra. I was fortunate to meet Gopal Mitra at the army quarters at the Navy Nagar area in Kolaba, and this was prior to Pandra August celebration a couple of years ago. So I found out that Gopal Mitra had not given up. Gopal Mitra, after he realized that he had become blind, he could have sat at home. Na? He could have got a pension from the government, from the army, and he could have still continued living. But Gopal Mitra did not give up there. Gopal Mitra enrolled for Masters in Social Service at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. This man would come all the way from Kolaba to Devnar every day by BST bus. Yeah? And because he was blind, he had to rely on a software called a Dragon software. Now a Dragon software is very low cost and a computer with time frame. Simple as that. And Chandrima, it's always said like behind every successful man there is a woman, right? So Chandrima was always a pillar of strength for Gopal Mitra. Gopal Mitra became the gold medalist in MA Social Service. From there, he got an opportunity to work with various NGOs. He went to Southeast Asia. He became an NGO there. He started working. And he did a lot of work for the children with disability. You get what I'm saying? Today, Gopal Mitra is the first Indian disabled to be there in UN. I'm telling you guys, world is not the limit for you. Sky will never be the limit for you if you have the right determination to do what you want. Look upon these people, Jai Mitra, Jai Vaidya, Gopal Mitra. These are the kind of case studies that you should look out for and get inspired because they are the ones to connect. They are one amongst you people. They are one amongst the people who have come from the grassroots level, but they have made the country feel proud of what their achievement is. And Gopal Mitra today is talking, being in the United Nations, and he is talking for the welfare of children with disability. And it's a proud moment for the country, India, because till now there were no directors from India at that level to reach out the UN. So just imagine we are having a voice in the UN today, and that is also because of Gopal Mitra. Go back home, do a Google check for constructing work like this. Look for Gopal Mitra, look for Jay here. I believe you will be getting more transformed, because many times the inspiration should come in from the case laws and the case studies that you see, and that should make you more determined to learn. Same way with your law. Since you're doing law, you have to understand why certain people are always recollected. Why are certain names always top of our head? Why is a Ramjet Malani or a Fali Salman American will be always back of our head? They also studied the same law book, right? Now the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is coming up, and only coming up now. But all these veterans who came up with the legal background and they have become jurists today, they all have been studying the same law book, right? What you are holding. Get inspiration from those people who set a benchmark. And believe my word, guys, none of you will have that talk or that thought in your mind that you don't have the ability to do it. No. We all have the same ability. Only thing is that how passionate you be, how passionate you are trying to be into that profession. And believe my word, age is not a factor to get into law. Otherwise, Mr. Oza would not have been sitting here amongst you people. So you will always look upon inspiration, and inspiration can come in from any corner. It could be a gardener sitting there. Believe my word, when I started my career, when I was a college student, I used to go to old custom house. I was working with a lawyer. And at old custom house, I met a peon. And the peon gave me the first lesson of my life. I went to the peon because my boss wanted a particular file. He had given me the file number. I went to the peon and I asked the peon in English, I want this file. Can you imagine the reply the peon gave me? He said, मेरे को अगर अंग्रेजी आता है तो मैं अंदर बैठा हूँ. The lesson he gave me in my first life is, गाढवाच्या पार्टी आणि बॉसच्या पुढे कधी उभा राहू. Believe my word. उसके बाद मैं कभी है ना मेरे बॉस के आगे खड़ा रहने को नहीं देखा, because I realized that even if my boss is not right, I don't want to argue with them. Yeah, and गाढ़ों के पीछे जाने का सवाल नहीं आता, because we know that you can get a hit where it hurts a lot. So that was the guy from the whole customer, and this is the reality of life. That is what the journalism I have learned of. I was fortunate to be into those places where I had spent the maximum time inside the mortuary. And when I see the people's body like their unclaimed, unidentified body, and the story what Ramnath Goenka gave me as an award today is about. And this is the factual story about one police constable from the MP department. There is one police van which goes to all the mortuary in South Bombay, Central Bombay, and other places. And their job is to pick up all these unclaimed bodies and then take it for burial. Yeah, it's a noble work. But that nobility was not seen in the work that they were doing. Because the man who was going to JJ mortuary, this man had two laborers. This is at the time of COVID in 2021, where you don't know how the person died, and whether it is a mutilated body, whether it is an accident body, whether it is an unnatural body. You are lifting the body without even having a PPE kit. You are not even having a facial mask. And these people have to pick up the body, take the body to the cremation ground, because the Lord says that you have to bury or you have to cremate the body depending on the religion of the person. So by default they are doing their job. So all the body which have to be cremated will go to the Samshan Bhumi. But there is a discrimination. How is the discrimination coming in? The procedure there is right of fire each of the body of the claimant. That means if a body is accompanied by a claimant or next of kin will be getting the first right over the fire than somebody who is unknown and unidentified. Which also means that a police constable and the two laborers who have been working, And they have to go to multiple places. They have to go to the Chandamadi cremation burial ground because they have to give dignified burial to the dead man who may be of different religion. But he is having to wait. Wait till the body which is there on the fire is set on fire. It is cooled down. So that means after come think of these 4 घंटा चला गया. When we wrote that story, these two laborers are not even having any security because they are not from the government servant, they are not from the police department. They have to come back to jail. They can't afford to have lifebuoy sabun or any other stuff. They used to use the phenol that was used for toilet cleaning, so that they could clean them. And then 100-200 rupees would be given to them by the police constable because it was more like a family for the police constable. And the police constable's problem was he could not go back home and he could not even hug his child because the fear that was I may be infected. I can't have my child get infected. You get what I'm saying? The human part of it. Yeah? So when you see the human part of it, you realize that well, this cannot happen, right? So when Article 21 talks about right Commissioner of Police Vishwas Patil, who was sensitive enough for this particular thing, he felicitated the constable. He called the police to the headquarters and he was yelling to at that time. I recollect after we wrote that story, there was a lot of people who came forward with PPE kits for the policemen, PPE kits for the workers, and they came in and they started living with dignity. मरने के बाद डिग्निटी का बातें नहीं करो, और जब जिंदा है ना, जब पेट के लिए लगता है तो वो फिनॉइल के हाथ धोता है, तुम्हारा हाथ से छिलका निकलता है. तो कहते हो ना, that is humanity that is happening today. और हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि बहुत हम तो बहुत मुंबई में पैदा हुआ है, मुंबई में बहुत है, but the conditions in which our police force sometimes work now, and they can't complain because they are from a disciplined force. You get what I'm saying? And this is the irony of the concept. And the constable was almost in tears when he spoke to me and he said, like, sir, you know, I am HIV. I said, no harm. If you are HIV, doesn't mean like, so I can't come and touch you. I can touch you though. Because I know what can lead to HIV. But he said, I can't hug my child. My wife is HIV. And HIV case of transfusion of blood. And that police constable had no vices. He would not drink, he would not smoke, he had no vices. And he told me, how is superior did not allow him to enter inside because he feared that because the man is HIV, he will also have it. He did not allow him to come into the camp. Can you imagine what discrimination? And the constable was so very happy when he wrote the story with his condition. And he got award from the joint in Yellow. He called me, he was almost in tears and he said, like, sir, no one wrote about our lives. Because the media doesn't want to come here. Yeah? That is the story of the constable and the bitter part of it. Yeah? So all I'm trying to say, where you are and come. Yeah? Any questions? Please ask.
Anybody has questions?
Result push was the stupidest question is what is more important. Always remember that. Never conceive your thought, never conceive your idea. If you feel that you have a question, you will feel that it is a weird question. No. That would be the best question. Next time when you call a guest to talk, यहाँ पे hand लगाओ यार.
Yes.
This is like a torture cell. Guest को पूरा torture करो.
I take actually the same.
बहुत सारा है ऑलरेडी केसेस मेरी केसेस को.
हाँ.
हर बार कहीं नीचे नहीं होता.
Because our friend Akbar told me that sir, the talk will be in the auditorium. Sunday auditorium आए तो भी comfortable अपना. I'm very happy. Then I realized there was a conspiracy. Auditorium turned to the classroom, and the classroom without a fan.
If anybody asking any question,
Yeah,
So you spoke about how media influences investigation of oil production. So my question is that if media influences judiciary in giving verdict and how?
No, I'll tell you one thing. My cases, there are 7 cases in which I have in my articles have been used as an evidence in the focus. Believe my word, you cannot influence the judiciary as far as the articles are concerned. As far as print is concerned, yeah, the judiciary I still have the highest regard because they apply their mind to it. Had that not been the cases, you would not have got the verdict the way it is coming out. What they go for is very clear. You know, in one of the cases in which my article was used, The unit 1 of the crime branch was very happy that I had written about something which was very helpful for their case. This was in the case of Suresh Bhagat death case. Suresh Bhagat was otherwise looked like an accident case near Alibag, outside the Alibag Panvel, Alibag court. He had come out and it was basically like a hit and run case. Because there was a vehicle that was allowed. So that was coming on the other side, and it hit the car in the Suresh Bhagat and the lawyer was traveling. Now, in this particular case, what happened was, Suresh Bhagat was earlier arrested for one of the case by the Navi Mumbai police and some quantity of ganja was found. I said, this is it. So that time during a press conference, he was being taken and I could ask him the question and he just told me this is his wife who is planning all this because she is eyeing the property. That was the statement. The article did not appear in Meeting, it appeared in Gujarati Meeting. Okay? 6 months later, this incident happened. Now, trust my word, the best investigator is the one who is able to read between the lines and figure out the evidence. When Suresh Bhagat death happened, his brother Vindo Kumar had an issue. He said like there is something wrong in this. He met then Joint Commissioner Crime Rakesh Maria, and it was Rakesh Maria who carried out that entire investigation to prove that it was a cold-blooded, well-planned murder strategy, and there were certain people from the gangsters also who were involved. Correct? Judiciary, why judiciary do not get influenced? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because this article, when it appeared in the paper, there was a summons from the Sessions Court, and this was a Makoka court. Because all the accused who were arrested, they were all put under Makoka. So when the Makoka case came up, the Makoka court, don't have that heavy thing on your mind that you patrakar hai, mujhe bolna nahi karna. Nahi, you are one of the law-abiding citizens, and only thing is that like others, you are also doing your job. So my thing was when I was in the testimony, in the witness box, the first question that was asked by Mr. Lake, Adit Shirokar was, Mr. Menon, you may be knowing, you are my old friend, you will be having all the details what you have written. So I told the court at that time, sir, had I known that 6 months after my article this was going to happen, then I would have kept everything with me. And at that time, I was stopped by the defense advocate saying, no, don't talk too much. Your answer should be yes or no. You get what I'm saying? So that is where it is. So your judiciary is not getting influenced. Had I had to influence the judiciary, I would have spoken too much, which is not interested by anybody. Judiciary goes by the evidence that is produced in the court of law, and on the way, they are not biased. Understanding the principle of natural justice have to be followed, and it is the law enforcing agency through the prosecution who have to produce the evidence before the court of law. And there have been many times the prosecution have failed to do their job. I don't blame them for that because there is also pressure tactics that come in, or there will be certain cases that will be going so very tricky that you are not able to produce it. But if I have to openly say, the friend is recording a lot of things. You get what I'm saying? I have to put like my limitation of not directly commenting on judiciary, but the fact that judiciary do not mediate it. But the funny thing I will have to say, there was a CJI, former retired CJI, who came up with a book, and the book was Justice to the Judge. Anybody can name the CJI? Book padho yaar, you read judicial books. Very interesting book. Justice to the Judge is a very important book. You should read. इसका जब इंटरव्यू हो रहा था, इस पर्टिकुलर बुक का जब लॉन्च हुआ था, तो उस इंटरव्यू के लिए काफी सारे अलग-अलग पत्रकार लोगों ने अलग-अलग तरीके से प्रश्न किया उस सीजेआई व्यक्ति से। उस सीजेआई व्यक्ति को अपनी तरफ से काफी कुछ बताना था उस बुक के अंदर कि जब मैं न्यायालय में बैठा था और मैं किस तरह का वर्डिक्ट दे रहा था, उसके बारे में मुझे जस्टिफिकेशन देना। You get what I'm saying? Therefore, it is called as justice to the judge. तब ये प्रश्न खाली एक ही पत्रकार ने पूछा मुझसे, सर हम आपका सिर्फ 5 मिनट लेगा, और प्रश्न था सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस में आपके ऊपर इल्जाम डाला गया। तो आपने तो वही जो कमिटी बनाया था उसमें आप भी थे। I'm not naming anybody. I'm saying the committee which was to hear the plea of justice to the victim of sexual harassment charges which have been levied, our friend CJI has been a part of that same committee. Then he tells she to withdraw the complaint. Is it correct?
Principal by natural justice.
Are you a student of law? You are the professor. You getting what I'm saying? She withdrew. That is, when she is withdrawing her complaint, how is she withdrawing the complaint? You have the accused against whom she is testifying standing in front of you. There are two other judges sitting. You are getting intimidated. Right? And with intimidation, you say she withdrew the complaint. So, all other journalists gave almost half an hour to 1 hour talk time to the concerned CJI, and one journalist who cut down the entire conversation to one question. समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
One of the reasons she had not provided certified copy.
Sir, I don't want to get into it. You are entering into a room where testimony is happening. I am talking about विशाखा judgment का हम लोग सब गुणगान गा रहे हैं. बहुत तुझे विशाखा जितना सफर कर रहा है कोई और लेडी सफर नहीं किया है. After the judgment came in, it took for another Nirvaya incident to happen in 2013, and then after that, Justice Verma came up with the sexual harassment at workplace का ये, wherein Sujata Manohar herself was the judge, one of the three judges when the judgment of Vishaka was passed there at court of law. उसका almost 8 years बाद ये judgment आता है. Sexual harassment at workplace, right? म्हणजे पोताला sexual harassment नहीं था. You get what I'm saying? Same way, there were two other judges who were accused by the interns of the judges of sexual harassment. Can you imagine? The additional then Solicitor General Idra Jaising, when she took up the matter before the Supreme Court, the committee was formulated. What happened? The Supreme Court came out saying that please don't get this kind of cases hereafter. Where is justice? And whether I can write it, the question comes up, contempt act वाचला है क्या? Contempt वाचला है क्या? Media journalists were sent behind the bars for contempt for 6 months by the Delhi High Court because they have written with evidence about a judge from the Supreme Court who was working under the biased influence of allowing demolition of structures to be carried out across Delhi NCR area because the son of the judge was into development and these shanties were coming at a roadblock. He directed the corporation to carry out a demolition. And when this article appeared, there was a petition filed in the Delhi High Court challenging the journalists from the paper, and the journalists were sentenced to 6 months of imprisonment for writing, and then Prashant Bhushan had to be called in, and Prashant Bhushan challenged it in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court then said like, okay, fair. You getting what it is? Yeah. So कहने का मतलब यही आता है भैया, you people have to analyze yourself, you have to apply your mind. But I would say like, don't get into the nitty-gritty part of what is happened or what somebody has. Believe me, what you're studying in the classroom is different from what you're practicing. All your seniors will tell you that, and you have to understand, you have to do your homework better, so that you can plead yourself defense. And never stop any questions in your mind. You should always raise your questions. Yeah. Any other question that you feel that I should be answering? हाँ बोलो.
One is why media is not focusing on positive news. Like we have given two examples.
Positive
No, but media is more concerned about negative news.
अच्छा क्या नाम है राजा आपका? सुदर्शन. I'll simplify it. मैंने अभी एक statement बताया था. The statement was that don't get carried away by what is happening around. Think about the positive things. My concern is not about what others are writing, right? My concern is about what I am writing. Because I consider myself to be responsible enough to put it where I am answerable to Jai Vaidya. आज ये Jai Vaidya का story doesn't get TRP. Understand that? Jai Vaidya story or a major Gopal Mitra story won't get you TRP unless like you want to highlight it. Today there are more other interesting things that people feel that. But I feel like there are a lot of interesting websites. There are a lot of interesting portals where gradually people are only writing about positive stories. आज आप देखो महाराष्ट्र के अंदर एक कोर्ट है where a lady judge has started a crash facility. She is the first lady to start a crash facility within the court premises. Now such a beautiful thought because the litigants were not coming in क्योंकि बच्चा घर पे अकेला रहता है. Now when the court started thinking positive, they say crash एक रूम में crash बना के दिया खेलने के लिए बच्चों के लिए. Now the women want to also come and fight because they are widows, they have to have rights. तो उसके लिए वो लोग कर रहे हैं. So positivity can come in anywhere. All I'm saying is like negativity के अंदर भी positive थी. ये चीजों से very difficult to fall. बहुत ताने मेंटल एचएलएम में कोई गया रहेगा ना, ताने मेंटल एचएलएम में मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा. I went to the mental hospital and I spent time with the people who are there. You know, law is very interesting subject. कानून बोलता है if you are incarcerating somebody behind the bars without giving platform of getting bail, तो हंगामा मच जाता है. Can you imagine? वहाँ पे उस जमाने में जब मैं चोरी कर रहा था, there is a separate cell called as the prisoner cell, and वहाँ पे लोग अंदर थे almost 15 से 20 साल. ना कोई सुनवाई हुआ, ना कोई उनको जजमेंट मिला, ना कोई जस्टिस के लिए आया, because the doctor would certify that he is not fit to be sent out. Not known Muka was one of the inmates. Jugru Patil was another inmate I had met. Jugru Patil was behind the bars right from 1980. Can you imagine when I met him? Jugru Patil को कभी justice नहीं मिला because he was accused of killing his wife using a sickle in the farm. या उसके बाद उधर पर पुलिस ने बोला कि सर इसका मेंटल कंडीशन बराबर है, ऐसे डॉक्टर ने सर्टिफाई करके दे दिया, कोर्ट ने बोला ठीक है मेंटल एचएलएम में भेज दो. जब से थाने में आ गया तब से थाने में ही था. Not known Muka was another case. Not known Muka was basically a love failure case. He was in madly love with somebody because the girl which he became mad, and his mistake to go into the prison was only one, that there was a lady superintendent who was taking a round. He came out and he hugged her. He thought it is his girlfriend. The superintendent got annoyed. बोला डालो अंदर. गया अंदर. You are getting what I'm saying? One case, what I really got affected was like there were 4 siblings. Architect, engineer, electronic engineer, civil engineer, all 4 of them in the mental hospital. And father was a retired railway officer. क्यों मालूम है? They were attached to the mother. The day when they found that the mother was in the hospital, they were all going for interviews. And all educated children. Can you imagine? When they came back, they found that the mother is dead. Psychiatric problem. Mental health is going to be a major problem for us. COVID-19 के बाद में हम जो बात कर रहे हैं ना, mental health के बारे में हमें विचार करना है. There is a Mental Health Care Act of 2017 passed by the center. उसका implementation आज भी महाराष्ट्र में पूरी तरह नहीं हुआ है. और हम लोग ने expose किया है how easy it is to put somebody into the mental asylum. 1000 से 2000 रुपए दो, आप अच्छे आदमी को भी अंदर डाल सकते हो. That was the kind of expose. या बट क्या हो रहा है ना, ये टूट आने के बाद कमेटी बैठता है, कमेटी बैठने के बाद इंक्वायरी होता है, इंक्वायरी होने के बाद सब हो जाता है. सो दिस विल गो ऑन. सेकंड क्वेश्चन, सॉरी.
We have seen, we can see that there is political influence in media houses also right now. We can see that Adani Group has brought some shares in NDTV. So
Adani has not bought shares, he has owned the owner of the channel now.
we have seen many times we see that
So,
we have media, right? We use the word Modi media. We have seen Manipur issue. Right now, Ladakh issue is going on. So we cannot see such kind of news in media. So is there whether this political influence is there? Because we have seen that there are certain news channels. These are we can say certain news channels are linked with certain political parties. Right now, we can say that in Maharashtra also, you know, there are certain news channels which targeting a particular political party or
Hello journalism is a major concern. Yes.
So, whether this influence will remain as it is in future also, because right now we have right now the government is from last 10 years. It may or may not be this, but it may change or not. It may change or not change. So whether this political influence over this media channel will remain out there or not.
देखो, अभी we have the recent electoral bond issue which has come out. Yeah, it's talking for yourself. The kind of money that had gone into political party. Yeah. So when such a scenario happened, I feel like the fact is already in front of all of us. Already there were newspapers like DNA. There were papers like Afternoon. There were papers like Mumbai Mirror. All shut down. Getting what I'm trying to say. All shutting down. So अभी क्या हो रहा है? You have a parallel thing coming. Parallelly bridging the digital. आगे जाके digital is going to be the mainstream because print is very expensive. Television is very expensive. You cannot have like television debates to go on where television debates are also motivated. Now in this classroom, how many of you watch news on television? 1, 2, 3, 4. But maximum are not watching, right? I'm also not watching.
But we did.
You people will have your so the tendency. So now what is happening? More of digital channels are coming. Digital platforms are coming now as an alternate source because the people who are there's a Ravish. Ravish is having his own YouTube. NDTV का दो तीन लोगों ने खुद का YouTube चालू किया है. So that will happen. You will continue, but only thing is that like you won't have big banners to come. You will have small.
My question is right now, see, we have only for issue, but these news are not coming up because in Ladakh we cannot see news coming for.
I forgot your name. Sudarshan, क्या होता है? I told you, this friend of ours is very good in his job. There are a lot of things which are not supposed to be openly narrated. You know it. And making it come from my mouth like I'm putting in a catch-22 situation. फिर बोलेगा तो पत्रकार आला होता मोठा सारखा येऊन काय बोलत होता आणि त्याने हे पण बोलला की that record is there. You get one thing. Don't put me in that fixed situation because that situation and so चतुर आहे.
That is just
तो चतुर आहे.
Yeah,
Getting what I'm saying. So that's smart. You want to put me in a doldrum. आणि आपला मित्र पोलीसवाले पण तिथे बसलेला आहे. So they know how to do their job.
sir, last two questions. Last question in the context of the his question. This is reference to context. Border case policeman, media media tag, and again the second was accident. When the second question, I did maintain regularly because say how to maintain the uniqueness of the apart from the other people.
तो सर midday पता नहीं है बराबर. देखो uniqueness ये क्या है? Midday was known for the page 3 midday meet. If you remember, there would be that half naked models photo which was coming in, which vanished. क्यों गया? एक गया इसके लिए क्योंकि अंदर का स्टोरी किसी को पता नहीं है. There are a lot of cases pending in the court. Because there was a activist who said like, "Well, this is really bad. You can't publish like this kind of photos in the newspapers." So there was petitions pending in the thread. And बाद में हमको पता चला बहुत सारा legal expenses was much more than the paper cost. So we decided like the turnaround has to happen to be dropped at midday meet. Now the midday meet concept came in from the Sun newspaper, जो UK में है. Because UK when you open the Sun, you will always have this kind of models photo, and that is what was introduced in 79. 1979 when midday came up, at that time what happened? There was no television, and there was no other mode of communication. That's what I said. That we came in from an era where you don't have any such thing to come in, and this page 3 turned out to be like the attraction for the newspaper at that time.
After post-COVID situation, na, so midday handle the situation.
It is.
Midday use the role is not single per use.
I have flattered here. Give him input. This is an interesting question. He knows like इतना बोलकर question.
You can try to Sanjay Rao going nobody give you.
Okay, any other question from anyone?
Sir, I have one question. It's different from what the discussed. So, in the beginning of the lecture, you talked about drought.
So, this drought story I want to tell you. I'll just take 2 minutes. Na? He has the weekend party to go.
I don't know if that's are going to Canada. That's the part.
Yeah. And the 5 minutes not more than that. The drought story was again important. The कैसा हो रहा है जब आप लोग कहते हो गोदी media. The गोदी media comes in from where? And why the journalism has changed? Everything is coming into the air conditioned room. आपका न्यूज़ भी एयर कंडीशन में आ जाता है. आप फील्ड में ले जाओ. जर्नलिस्ट लोगों का एक नेटवर्क बन जाता है. आपको स्टोरी में लाभ मिलता है. हम जब चालू किया था तभी नेटवर्क नहीं होता था. I work in isolation. That is what my boss would always tell me. Work in isolation because you will get the story. और भी आपको रात the story was dear to our heart. You getting? और जब हम जाते थे मिलने के लिए, I would meet our friends personally. Yeah. तो उससे क्या होता है? You are having a personal one-on-one connection. हाँ. और उससे क्या होता है? आपको पता चलता है कि भैया क्या होगा. Like for instance, Vikoli कोर्ट के बाहर एक फायरिंग हो गया था. We were in the office. There was a journalist called Asadullah Ansi at that time, and he got a phone call from his source right outside the court to the landline number saying that there is a firing that has happened outside the court. That was a trust. Today, information like that is coming to you via mobile phone. no confirmation. But here, the policeman on duty outside the court is informing because there is a bonding of relation between the concerned officer and the journalist. You getting what I'm trying to tell you? And the basic thing is you can trust yourself. Drought का जब इंसिडेंट आया था तो ड्राउट इंसिडेंट इज बेसिकली वेयर वी हैड टू गो ऑल द वे टू अ प्लेस कॉल्ड मोकाड़ा. मोकाड़ा एक 100 किलोमीटर फ्रॉम हियर थाने डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंदर आता है. इट्स ट्राइबल एरिया जवार मोकाड़ा. तो जवार मोकाड़ा में नॉर्मली फरवरी के बाद हमेशा जो है पानी का दिक्कत होता है और पानी जब आता है ना एक हफ्ते में एक टैंकर आएगा 10,000 लीटर का टैंकर होगा लेकिन उसमें 5 या 6,000 ही पानी होगा. एंड दिस वुड बी इन दी ओपन वेल और उस वेल में नॉर्मली वो लोग 30 फीट के ऊपर से पानी डालते हैं. What had happened was there was an incident where उस गांव में जब टैंकर आता है ना बच्चे लोग यूनिफॉर्म पहनते हैं लेकिन लोटा लेके भागते हैं बावड़ी की तरफ. हाँ, क्योंकि उनको जगह सा पानी चाहिए होता है तो पूरे गांव वाले बावड़ी को घुमा के खड़ा रहते हैं. दिस लेडी हैड आल्सो गॉन देयर एंड वो ट्रक का चाक के नीचे आ गया मर गया. Okay, so when I went there with my colleague photographer, we found that the condition was not very good because same एक टैंकर आता है पानी ऐसे ऊपर से डालते हैं बच्चे लोग नीचे भी उतर लेते हैं पानी भर के देने के. What I did different was after I spoke to all these people, I had collected the water sample in a sterile bowl because I want to know that when the water is thrown from a height of 30 feet, it's all becoming muddy water. So that muddy water is what is actually being consumed by these tribal people. तो इसका जब मैंने 3 सैंपल लेके आया, I brought that sample to Bombay. I went to the BMC laboratory, water department का है दादर में. तो वहाँ पे का जो इंचार्ज है, he was a very good friend of mine. He said, I will do the testing for you. I said, whatever the official charges, I don't want anything to be free. So he made an official charge, minimum amount का टेस्टिंग किया. टेस्टिंग करने के बाद पता चला there was E. coli bacteria and the water was unfit for human consumption. Now, when I wrote 3-4 articles out of that, then Tribal Welfare Minister of State of Maharashtra was a very sensitive person because he was coming in from that area. So he called me up. He said, I want to meet you. So I met him near the fish market area when we were going towards the flower market के आगे उनका एक ऑफिस वहाँ पे था. So I met the मंत्री there inside, and that is also the place where the dumping of the BMC vehicles are parked. So उसके अंदर उनका एक ऑफिस था. When I met him. He said, I have been reading your article, and this article basically has raised a lot of questions in my mind. So, according to you, what can be done to ensure that nothing wrong happens in that area? So, I said, the only thing what I could see is that accidents happen because there is no control in crowd. And crowd control is a major concern. So, I suggested, you have 10,000 liters of plastic का syntax का tank आता है. आप इसको जो है गांव के बाहर ही रखो. और इसके अंदर जो भी पानी आना है उसे उस सिंटेक्स के टैंक में डलवा दो और उसमें नल लगवा दो. What happens is that first time there is no risk of water getting contaminated when you are throwing the water from a height of 35 feet into a muddy well, and then the water becomes fit for consumption. Second, there is no risk of any more life to go because there is no vehicle directly coming and nobody will be coming under the tire. Third thing was there will be uniformity of people standing in. Can you imagine? He took it seriously. Today also if you go to Mokkada, there are villages with this syntax type. So therefore, the media rise with a good intention. That good intention is also seen where देखो administration गलत नहीं होता है या political parties का जो भी एजेंडा है. I am not affiliated to any political party, but somewhere deep inside you ना, you will always have that caution. That feeling कि बहुत ये मेरे को करना चाहिए यार ये मेरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी है तो मेरे को इसको कम से कम पानी ही दो की दे. You getting what I'm trying to say? Because हर पेपर में वहाँ का न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट लिखा अंदर लेडी मर गया मोर्चा हो गया सब कुछ हो गया. Destructive reporting is not basically what will take you forward. Anything that you think about destruction that is not going to help you. और damage करने के लिए take seconds. To build up it takes lot of effort and energy. So, my friend Sudarshan, don't think about destructive media and what they are doing. No, my concern is not that. Had I been having that concern, I would not have written Vaidya story. I would not have written Major Gopal story. Or I would not have written this. And believe me, it is not for getting an award from anybody. No, when I write an article, I don't even know what the article consequences would be. Or when I meet a Juplu Patil inside the mental asylum, I don't even know what my article is going to turn up. There is a feeling, human feeling, touch. That touch is what makes the thing different. Yeah? So great, it was pleasure meeting all of you. Yeah. Last one, sir. Only 2 minutes. This man is a sitting man. Trust my word. This is a very important and recent case of Barley. He called me one day when I was in my morning walk. He said, Mr. Menon, हमारा इधर बीएमसी डिस्पेंसरी में बहुत टाइम से बंद पड़ा हुआ है, डिस्पेंसरी नहीं है, तो हमारे वर्ली गांव के जितने आजू बाजू के लोग हैं ना, उनके लिए दवा के लिए राजधानी नहीं मिल रहा है, कोई रिसोर्स नहीं। माय फर्स्ट थिंग टू इज नंबर भाई कौन जाता है डिस्पेंसरी में आजकल? या बिकॉज our thing is like go to bigger hospital or go to bigger clinic and all that, but you know the need of that dispensary, he could realize it because he was staying there. And he is talking not for himself. He could afford to go to a bigger center because he went to Bombay Hospital. He didn't go to the dispensary when he was unwell. Yeah. So when I wrote the first story and I spoke to people, I realized that was not just dispensary where a doctor would come and give medicine for sick. That was an immunization center. You know, where all these people with a newborn baby would come to get free immunization. That was a TB center. Where all your dots program that is to be carried on is done there because it cannot be for TB expensive treatment होता था, अभी ये लोग free में है BMC की तरफ. That was important. When we wrote that article, believe my word, he called me one fine morning and he is a well connected man. ये मातोश्री के नीचे बात नहीं करता है. मेरे को बोलते मातोश्री पे जाएगा, मैं बोला तुम कहीं भी जाओ. But the fact what I want to convey is BMC took cognizance, and within a short span of time. The dispensary came up, and the dispensary came up, and that is becoming very important because the dispensary is not open only in the daytime; it is open till 10 o'clock. Under the state government program, what is that program called? Apla Dawakana, where the CM has made an announcement, and they are getting the facilities.
And I will get Aditya ji at India Today contact. I always had, I said this is the story. I said that part don't worry, I'll get it.
Aditya ji
he immediately got it done. You know, within
So indirectly, that part he want to also communicate that he is very influential man.
I couldn't care less about it.
So having said that, like you know, sometimes that kind of story also works out because many times Midday would have said that, like you know, कि बहुत ये story कहाँ वाली गाँव का लिखा है, you get what I'm saying? But luckily our editors were also sensitive and Midday has always been Mumbai based. We've always raised issues pertaining to Bombay and हमने भी काफी सारा गलती करके सीखा है, सीखने से ही आता है. And as I said, like your intention should be clear. When your intentions are clear, then you can proceed with it.
That is the secret.
That is the secret of it. And all I want to say is that tomorrow I want to see you people, like you know, one of you who at least come up high in life, and we should meet somewhere and we should tell that you had come one day. Took our more than 2 hours. We thought it would be a 1 hour session.
It's very versatile.
Yeah.
Never again.
Now you look forward.
Sir, we had 4 minutes.
ये बोलिए तो नहीं.
Then anytime. I think any more.
But it is easier to do.
Not like
Lecture का second just me just
Yes.
yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
And as a you said that the college Mukada. Hema Malini was the MP, that time what she used to do the advertisement of water purifier. She raised the question exemption for the water purifier. So I am professor sir, what is said now? मेरा पानी तो देखो water purifier मारती मारती. Thank you sir. Thank you.
So these are personal views.
Thank you so much, sir, for inviting us, all of us here today with
I hope
different
everyone
stories.
will like it.
At least communicate. We are not enlightened. We are aware.
I request Ujma to please give the word of thanks.
Sir, he is actually advocate.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Dr. Ambedkar Law College, our respected chairman, our respected principal, our respected vice principal, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, and all other students, we are very happy to say we are thankful to you. Our chief guest is Menon. Next meeting, all you with a special time. Today we had within span of short time we had managed, and gave no time. Mr. Dhanpal spoke to Mr. Menon. Sir, can you spend little time? Immediately he said, yes, I will. So once again give a big hand.
Mr. Menon received the draft.
Requesting everyone to please stand up for the national
Jana Gana Mana Adinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vihara Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkal Banga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Utkal Jaladi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mage Gaye Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhana Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He. Thank you. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Very
you.
much.